Good morning, dear students. So this is part two of the video that we have been discussing about. The last part was about the intelligence testing in India, and this segment is basically about the relationship between culture and intelligence. Now, the question several times crops up in our mind whether culture is related to intelligence. So, for example, it might come to our mind if we were brought up, in a different setting, would our intelligence level be influenced by that? So, there have been various, studies, there have been various viewpoints about this, that how culture and intelligence are related. So this segment is basically about that. Now, intelligence, as we all know, that it helps the individuals to adapt to the environment. We had done Robert Sternberg's theory, in which it was very, very clearly mentioned that an intelligent person is one who can adapt to his environment, who can adjust well to his environment. So we all know that intelligence is a important factor in helping us to adapt to the environment. Another thing is that cultural environment provides a context for individuals to develop. So cultural environment is an environment where it provides a background, you can say, for individuals to develop. There was a Russian psychologist Vygotsky who had done a lot of research in this field, and he said that the culture in which we are brought up, like whatever culture we are brought up in like for example Indian culture, Western culture, the culture provides a context in which people grow, live and understand the world around them. So it is the culture which is providing a kind of a background for people to grow and live and understand the world. Now, the example that he had provided was that is in less technologically developed societies. For example, there are societies, you can take Indian society also as an example of that, that in societies which are less technologically advanced, social and emotional skills in relating to people are valued. So in our culture and in cultures where technological advancement is not the focal point, in those societies we can see that the major point which is valued is that how social and how people relate to each other and how well they are at understanding each other. The social and emotional skills are the focus of those cultures. On the other hand, in societies which are considered technologically advanced, like in basically in Western societies, personal achievement founded on abilities of reasoning and judgment is considered to represent intelligence. So in countries which are considered as technologically advanced, you can take Western countries for instance, they are considered as technologically advanced, and in those countries you can see that personal achievement is considered very valuable. How the person himself achieves, it is considered very valuable, and it is founded and that personal achievement also founded on abilities of reasoning and judgment. So you can see very clearly the distinction. In less technologically developed societies, social and emotional skills in relating to people are valued, but on the other hand, in technologically advanced societies, personal achievement founded on abilities of reasoning and judgment. For example, your own mental capacities, your capacity to problem solve, reason, judge, all the cognitive and thinking capacities are valued more in contrast to less technologically developed societies. Moving on next. Now, culture is a collective system. Now, this is the definition which is of culture, is a collective system of customs, beliefs, attitudes, and achievements in art and literature. So basically, when we talk about culture of Indian culture, of Western culture, it is a collective system of customs. What our customs are, what are our beliefs, how are our attitudes, what are our achievements in art and literature. Now, Sternberg's notion of contextual or practical intelligence, like we had done Robert Sternberg's theory, in that we had done the notion of contextual or practical intelligence. It was very, very clear in that theory that intelligence was regarded as a product of culture. So in Sternberg's theory, it is, the culture is given a major, major role in understanding how intelligent a person is. In fact, Sternberg also maintains that intelligence is a product of culture. So you can well imagine how important this link between intelligence and culture is given by Sternberg. After that, again, Vygotsky had mentioned a very, very important finding that he felt, and he said that according to Vygotsky, while elementary mental functions, like basic mental functions, like crying, attending to mother's voice, these basic mental functions are universal. For example, they are there in every culture, they are there in every individual, right? But according to him, the manner in which higher mental functions such as problem solving and thinking operate are largely culture produced. So you can see the distinction that he says. Vygotsky very clearly maintained that elementary mental functions, the basic mental functions which are there in everyone, they are common to everyone. But higher mental functions, more advanced mental function, you can say, in human beings, we see that problem solving is considered and thinking is considered to be a very advanced mental function. So according to him, the more advanced mental functions are culturally produced. So it is very much depending, the higher mental functions are very much dependent on culture. Now they also said, the technologically advanced societies adopt child rearing practices which foster skills of. Now what is child rearing? Child rearing means how the children are brought up. Okay, so we can see that in technologically advanced societies, child rearing practices, the way children are brought up, they are basically focused. When the children are brought up in our society and in Western societies, there is a big distinction how they are brought up. So in technologically advanced societies, in Western societies, they, while bringing up the children, they are basically focused on fostering some skills, some specific skills. What are the skills? Generalization and abstraction, speed, minimal moves, and mental manipulation among children. So basically all these skills which they have mentioned over here, they are basically cognitive skills. So technologically advanced countries, advanced societies are basically focused on the skills which are more in cognitive and thinking in nature. So they are basically focused on skills which involve the mind, and they are mostly cognitive skills. You can see that there is very less mention, or there is absolutely no mention of emotional and social skills in these cultures. Now, these societies promote a type of behavior which is called technological intelligence. Now, this term, technological intelligence, is very important from the exam point of view, because several times it is asked, what is technological intelligence? So, technological intelligence is a kind of intelligence which you can see in the in the societies which are more technologically advanced, and they are societies which foster the cognitive skills. In these societies, persons are well versed in skills of attention, observation, analysis, performance, speed, and achievement orientation. Now, can you see very clearly that all of these skills which they have mentioned present in societies which are technologically advanced, all of them are cognitive skills. These are skills which are basically dependent on the mind and thinking, and none of these skills are basically about emotional or social in nature. Now, the individual tests developed in Western culture also look for these skills. So it is very normal that if the Western cultures feel that these are the major skills involved in intelligence, which they call as technological intelligence, so they will also develop tests in which only these skills are tested for a person to be intelligent. Next, finally, we see that technological intelligence is not so valued in Asian and African societies, right? In our society, which is also an Asian society, in many of the Asian and African societies, these skills are not so valued, the technological skills. The qualities and skills regarded intelligent in non-Western countries are sharply different. They are different because we are more focused on emotional and social component, and we focus on the cognitive component also, but we also feel that the emotional part and the social part are very important. But nowadays we can see that this boundary between Western and non-Western countries is gradually vanishing, because people are moving from one country to the other. So you can see that the distinction that was very sharp is no longer very sharp these days. In addition to cognitive competence, non-Western cultures look for skills to relate to others in society. So, as we mentioned before, that in non-Western cultures, which are considered as not very technologically advanced, we look for skills to relate to others in society. In our culture, for example, in the Indian tradition, we feel it is very important to get along with others, to behave well with others, to be a productive member of the society. So in the non-Western cultures, it is very important for, in addition to cognitive competence, we also need to have other skills basically relating to others in the society, right? Now, some non-Western country societies value self-reflection and collective orientation. So you can see very clearly, even in our Indian culture, we focus on self-reflection, whether we have done, reflecting on our own actions. That is very important in our, non-Western societies, and collectivist orientation. Like, we want to get along with people. We feel, that being together is, very much important. So that is why in some non-Western societies, value of self-reflection and collective orientation is there, other than personal achievement, which is there in technologically advanced countries or societies. So in this segment, we have basically, learned about how culture and intelligence are related, and you have also learned about the technological intelligence which is present in societies which are considered to be technologically advanced. And basically what we have seen all through this segment is that the societies which are considered to be technologically advanced are more focused on technological intelligence, which is basically intelligence related to skills of attention, observation, analysis, all of these cognitive skills. And the other skills like emotional, which are emotional and social in nature, they are not considered to be important according to this viewpoint. So in this is the segment on the relationship between culture and intelligence. In the next segment, I will be